first guest of the new year on the Tea Time sofa is Mike Holoway, who has spent 45 years in the entertainment industry, appearing on cult TV series The Tomorrow People, as well as many other stage shows such as Joseph's Coloured Dreamcoat and other well-known musical productions. Mike shares his angst about the future for his entertainment colleagues and how he wants 15 minutes in front of Rishi Sunak. He's a voice for everyone working in the entertainment industry, as well as a positive influence, even though he has received shocking news in the last year. Let's find out more. Warning, if any of this interview does affect you, the number for the Samaritans is 116 123. Welcome, Mike, to Tea Time with me, Ali Monjack. How are you today?
Well, hello, Ali. I mean, looking smiley and lovely, considering what we've all been through this year. Great to be with you.
Well, I think brilliant. And it's lovely to see you too. I think there is good news on the horizon this week. The fact that the Oxford vaccine, the AstraZeneca vaccine, has actually been approved and can be rolled out as of the 4th of January, which will certainly help the situation. I do feel that.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Yeah.
So, I mean, you've not had an easy time of it. I mean, you've had a whole career and livelihood in theatre, music, acting.
Yeah.
You name it, from Joseph's Coloured Dreamcoat to Flintlock. Goodness, what else have you done? And then Tomorrow People, which
I'm impressed. Yeah. You've done your research. I love it.
Oh, I've done my homework, Mike.
It's been an unprecedented time, and that word is used a lot. But I have to say, I don't think people really realise how unbelievably bad it's done so much damage to our entertainment industry and to self-employed people across the board. I see my voice now as a voice for that cause, because I've seen the impact on people in my family that are self-employed, nothing to do with the entertainment industry, but they've had no help, they've had no assistance. It's not their fault the country's been locked up and shut down and they can't work. And things like, how can you put into your business forecast a projection of minus 100% of your turnover?
You can't.
You know, it's cataclysmic sledgehammer on millions of individuals that frankly have been left to fall off a financial cliff. And in the entertainment industry, you know, so many of my showbiz friends, celebrities, and indeed jobbing working people that do all the entertainment for all the holiday parks and all the big shows up and down the country. It's not just about the West End. It's not just about the rich boys. It's about everybody that needs to earn a living in our industry. And the fact, again, that, you know, you shut everything down, fine, we all want to be safe. But in my, you know, mind now, I'm trying and I'm driving for a one-to-one with Rishi Sunak, because I want that. Because I know I need answers to questions. How can you segregate who you're going to save financially and who you're not, when, as a government, they've shut everything down? It beggars belief as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, we managed.
Can I just stop you there? I mean, you have been in the entertainment industry for 45 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Still looking good on it, by the way. But yeah, I mean, it's so I mean, you've seen, you know, you've been through decades of different governments, of different situations, and obviously never come across anything. Well, nobody has, not in our lifetimes. We've never come across anything like this.
You see, entrepreneurial people and people that do things in a different way by the definition of being an entrepreneur, you have to, you know, have a brain that can fill in a blank piece of paper, that can conjure up ideas that can have an energy and a drive to push those forward, and then to select a team to come around with you to then move forward and grow a business. The fact that you hit a brick wall to this degree, which is a historical event called the COVID syndrome, or whatever you want to call it, and to have a government to lock it all down, and yeah, okay, fine, if that's what they need to do, but to cage people up financially, and I really don't think people know how serious. I mean, people are losing their lives because they can't take it anymore.
No, I
You know,
understand that. I mean, throughout this whole pandemic, I mean, the entertainment industry aside, it really has been, you know, a fine balance between trying to save people from COVID-19 and dying, and also save people from mental health issues and they're losing their livelihoods and also dying. Because, you know, let's be honest here, we're talking about people that have fallen so far and, you know, are reaching out, and they're, you know, mentally can't cope anymore.
correct. No, I've had the phone calls, and I'm aware of 2 people that are no longer on this planet because of what's happened. I get my information, you know, as accurately as I can before I make statements. But in simple terms, if you're going to quantity these, and if you're going to print money, which is basically what capitalism is, and capitalism is all right in its form, but it's become so big a thing now, that these digital numbers, as I call them, are, you know, streamed away on our planet, and it's not real. It makes maybe 6% of our world rich because that's how they deem it to be fair. But then the rest of us have got to try and pave our way through. So if you're going to quantity these, and if you're going to print money, then don't be stupid. You need to not segregate. You need to help everybody. This is a pandemic. This is historical. And this is what I'm standing up for now. You know, you can't then say, oh no, because you're self-employed and you haven't got an office, and because you haven't traded for 3 years, or you haven't got accounts to, yeah. No, hang on a minute. You know, you've shut everything down. Yes, fine, to keep us safe, but it's only printed money. It's quantitative easing. So do it for everybody. And I am passionate about it because there's millions of people that haven't had any help at all.
I can see that, and I can understand the reason why you are passionate about it. I really, really do. I mean, how do you kind of see this moving forward? I mean, when you get statements like, you know, you've got to think about retraining to do something. I mean, obviously, for someone like you, having been in the entertainment industry for 45 years and don't know anything else, I mean, where would you start to retrain?
Yeah, well, there's no need to retrain because that's an insult. That's the first statement I'd like to make on that. That's a very outrageous statement to make. Listen, if you're running a business, which our Westminster bods are supposed to be doing, they're supposed to be running our country, which is running a business. Frankly, since Brexit, in the last 4 or 5 years, frankly, what I've seen of running this country, the way they've done it, if you had a business and you were running a business the same way they've done it, whether it's printing money or whatever they've done to get themselves out of the holes that the government have got themselves into, there would be anarchy in the boardroom. There would be misappropriation charges against people. There would be scandalous, slanderous arguments within EGM boardroom meetings because of all the errors, the mistakes, you know, fudging money, you know, you name it, it's all there. Fudging expenses. In my mind, the last sort of 6 to 8 years of what I've seen personally of the government and their kind of way of running this country, I just find it extraordinary, and I don't accept it.
Are we saying though, Mike, are you actually going so far as that you're playing with politics behind your plight? I mean, are you saying that it's a Conservative government? Do you think that it would be different if Labour were in charge? What are you saying here?
Darling, what I'm saying is that I'm not trying to be political. I wouldn't do that because I'm not around it enough. I'm an expert in my field, and that's why I don't need to retrain. How dare Rishi Sunak say that? That's an outrageous statement to make. When you're locking this country down and you've stopped everyone working, your responsibility as a government is to be fair to everybody. You can't segregate. And therefore, I wouldn't be political. I'm just analysing because I've run a big business. I've run it to a public limited company level. I know how boardroom corporate bods, I call them, operate. I've got a very good feel for that business acumen. And what I do know is that my gut feel tells me that there's something very wrong when you segregate who you're going to save and help and who you're not, when through no fault of the millions that have not been helped, they've lost everything, homes, businesses. And therefore, it's not the political statement. I don't need to be. I just think the people that are in charge at this present moment in time, in my opinion, who am I, have not done a very good job. And yes, people are going to say, oh, but any government would be in a rock and a hard place. And that, can they make this and can, well, frankly, based on the decision-making process since March, we've not got a very good record, have we, of what's happened in this country.
Right, no, I appreciate where you're coming from. I honestly do. I mean, the thing that sort of saddens me most in all of this is, as you said, that you've heard of two people that have lost their lives, who are
Yeah,
in the entertainment industry because of this situation. I mean, you probably knew those people really well.
I did. I was shocked. And I can only listen to people to a degree because I'm struggling myself. We all are mentally to deal with this situation that we're in. And I got a show on. I managed to get a Christmas show on. People were paid, not anything, financially that was going to change their lives, but it was a statement. It was a show. It was a Christmas event. It was at Peterborough, and it was so safe. It was beautifully done, and everybody that came in, even the press that came in, commented on how safe they felt, on how brilliant it was handled. We put it together so well, Ali, and then, they take us off. And then you walk across the road to Sainsbury's, and there was thousands of people shoulder to shoulder, not wearing masks, all hustling and bustling about. And whether you go to London and then there's like 100,000 people protesting, or whether you've got tens of thousands of people piling into high streets, no masks, no protection,
Oh,
no distancing.
no.
I just looked at my producer and I said, I can't make sense of this. And that's why I want a one-on-one with Rishi Sunak. Because in my mind, Ali, I cannot understand the examples of my nephew at school. He sent home from school 3 times, eventually tested positive, and they were doing fire drills and throwing 800 kids and all the teachers into an assembly point in the playground. No masks, no social distancing. And you think, hang on a minute, there's something absolutely not right about all of this. So there you go, Ali.
No, I quite agree with you in on one night. I mean, definitely. I mean, I agree with you a lot. I mean, I've got a child who is, well, I say child, she's actually 18, but she's
Bless.
so it's her last year in school. It's a very important year for her because she's doing A levels. And the problem that we've got, obviously, it's so stop and start at school. And I mean, it's just been announced this week that they're going to be staggering school comebacks, with a view to doing lots of testing. But however, the point is this virus is spreading like wildfire in schools.
Well, exactly. Schools back. They sent all the universities back. They said, and sorry, from reasonable information, there's where your spikes come from. It's not coming from people to come and see a show in a theatre. It's not coming from people trying to run their businesses professionally. I listened to the guy who runs the Weekly chain. You know, what an eloquent man. He should be Prime Minister. You know, brilliant. The man's brain was bang on. You know, he said, we diligently run everything by the book. It's all safety. And then, you know, the government lead theatrical producers down the line of, well, these are the goalposts that you need to fit within. Things like the Palladium pantomime, all these shows that went. So, and we all did it by the book, everything right. And then they move the goalposts again, and then you're off. So you just think, well, where is the charismatic, where is the concise leadership?
No, I'm with you. It's where's the safety net for you guys? You know, what was your production, by the way? I'm sorry that I don't know.
Don't worry, darling. It was Jack and the Beanstalk. It was a very, very skillfully put together 1 hour and 15-minute show presentation. It was done as a Christmas event. And what makes me so happy is that those kids, and I love children and their faces when they come to see a pantomime, they are potentially the future audience for theatre because they are totally engaged. They totally believe. They have the most awesome time. They're so hyped up and excited. And it was, I got goosebumps because it was wonderful to see that the people we did manage to entertain, they were perfectly safe, perfectly happy, and they had a wonderful, wonderful time. And it made a difference to their mindset and to their attitude. We had letters, we had digital emails from hundreds of people saying how much it helped their mental state, just being around something positive, around something that meant something to them and that they really enjoyed. So there you go.
Oh, I think that's amazing. I really do. And, you know, especially at the moment, this is the thing. I do, you know, stop and think that really, this is what we need right now. I mean, it's, you know, we need entertainment, we need theatre, we need music, we need all that type of thing to keep us going and to basically, you know, keep us entertained and keep our minds believing in magic. Because that's what theatre and pantomime creates, doesn't it, really?
There you go, Ellie, you know, and that's a lovely smile, and I can see it means a lot to you. And, you know, that's fine. As I say, if you've got to lock us down, you've got to, you know, shut the doors and everything's got to be dark. I keep coming back to this same point, but then pay everybody. You can't leave millions locked up and say to them, retrain. What, are there 5 million jobs out there? For people, how long would it take them to retrain? Does he know what he's talking about when he says something like that? To retrain to do something else takes properly 9 months at least. Then you've got to take exams, and then you've got to take tests, and then you've got to get certifications before you can actually become a, say, insurance broker or an accounts advisor. Or, I mean, so by the time that year's gone by, what are you supposed to live on to retrain? Who pays for the retraining? Let's open this box of advice that Rishi Sunak came up with. I mean, it's ludicrous.
I do get your point, and I think as well, it's very difficult to try and do that in the current situation, because if you're worried about finances and security, how are you supposed to take in something new, you know?
Correct.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I have covered a lot. I mean, I'm not an expert and obviously I'm not a professional, but I have covered a lot on mental health issues, you know, during my time in the newsroom. And I just really know that it's so difficult for people to try and refocus, even when they're just so worried.
Yeah, but also, darling. Ali, this is the other thing is they're killing the high streets. I mean, what are you going to retrain to? Big chains, massive, great big corporate companies are going bust, folding, they're gone. So you're creating an aura of fear and of well, incapability to make a decision as to what to go into and where to retrain to do what.
And then there's only so many supermarket jobs, isn't there, I suppose,
Yeah.
as well? I mean, not
Yeah.
everybody can work in the supermarket, for example.
I mean, I've done my bit for the community. I'm delivering locally to keep things sane for myself. I've had to deal with all sorts of mind games, I call it. And I do feel genuinely very sorry for people. I've seen families particularly and how hard they've been hit with all of this. And it's worse than people think. It is. There's a lot. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people out there that are beyond struggling, and the mental strain is unbelievable, frankly, because when you've got nowhere to go and you can't even get a part-time job in a bar, or where do you go, Ali?
No, exactly. I mean, it's not like you can get a part-time job in a bar, is it, at the moment either? So none of those are open.
No, but I'm doing good things with my radio show. All my digital warriors, as I call them, we always keep it positive. We keep it upbeat. We look, and I encourage stories of empowerment and of people's kindness within communities that are helping, like we do. My wife and I, we've got neighbours that are elderly, and we look out for each other, and we make sure everybody's right. So the power of the human spirit is always solid, but I'm afraid to say I'm disengaged with the multi-billionaire club that runs governments anyway, and the way they've handled this and not distributed the wealth that is there in a fair way, right the way down the line, across the board. And that includes, as I keep saying, the self-employed and indeed the entertainment and the hotel business. I mean, these little things like the ramifications of shutting everything down. Theatres, they empower the exponential revenue streams go into retail, because people go and spend money in shops when they feel good. They go to restaurants, they go to bars. The theatres are funding all of these extra avenues of businesses, if that makes sense. If you can.
No, of course it does, because it's a revenue stream, isn't it? Really, it is, definitely. Yeah. So I mean, this is that. So right, we've spoken about this, and I think that this is really positive that you're obviously carrying the torch for theatre and the entertainment industry. So what's your strategy now, Mike? How are you going to get in front of Rishi Sunak?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm just going to keep persisting, because that's my nature. I'll just keep persisting on that one. But on a day-to-day basis, it's just about keeping yourself sane, which we all have a hard time doing right now. A. B, I do have and proved that I had the ability to, work in association with a producer on, albeit a small show, but it was still a big achievement to get it done. And because of Gov, we were, thrown to the wolves. But I'd like to think that I'm a doer. I don't like feeling caged, which I am feeling right now. And thousands and tens of thousands of people in the entertainment industry are. I reach out to the technicals, to the specialists in their field, who certainly don't need to retrain. And they are the stage managements, the DSMs, the technical people, the sound engineers, the lighting. These people are honestly so intelligent, so brilliant at their jobs. And I guess all I can say is that everybody needs to just, keep the faith that things will change. A. B, keep positive. I do it through little things like my radio show, through things like my music. I write my own music. So I do have a way of at least finding some avenue.
Yeah, of finding some avenue. Right. So, what's your radio show?
It's called Digital World. It's on a Sunday evening between 8 and 11 p.m. It's on secondcityradio.net, and it's a crazy show. It's not for everyone because it's very unique. There isn't another radio show like it out there. We have lots of quirky things going on. I create characters with a very talented man called Clark Cowell. We do sketches, we do spoofs of things like Dallas, and we've created characters that come in and out of my show. I do my own music. I do my own thing with cover songs, and then play great music as well. And generally, the 3 hours goes by quite quickly.
I can imagine it does. So, I mean, that's great though as well, because you're still managing to be you and spread the love, so to speak, and also you're able to carry on doing what you do best. But I suppose that's not an option for everybody, is it?
No, it's not an option for everybody, and I fully understand that. I've had my hands tied before COVID came along, and it's a horrible feeling because there are some people that find the strength in their mind, because it is here. I've had a torrid time for various reasons, but keep going. That's all I would say. And there are people out there that don't have, because they then, if you're not a musician or if you're not an entertainer in that way, at least there is a way where you can write stuff, you can write material, you can compose. But people that have got what I would deem to be regular jobs, what are they doing? And this is where this mental health issue that you've quite rightly mentioned becomes so, so big right now for thousands and thousands of people.
Yes, no. I definitely, it does. It really is. I mean, even people that perhaps are working from home, who work in an office. I mean, even those types of people who've managed to hang on to some sort of work, but I mean, they're even suffering from mental health issues just because they're not around people every day. They're on their own all the time. I mean, this whole thing is incredibly isolating for a lot of people, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, the first lockdown, I saw it through the community, doing what I was doing, delivering locally, and what I saw during that process, that really distressed me, frankly. I didn't like what I saw at all, and it was very very astutely obvious that this loneliness thing for a lot of people is obviously a very serious problem.
Yeah, no, I think it is a very serious problem, without having the added pressure of losing your livelihood and losing everything else, which is just, I mean, I'm pretty sure there has been some sort of petition going around about theatre to do, government petition that, well, not government petition, but a petition to put to the government.
No, that's right. No, there are various ones. I don't know whether they'll find their 100,000 ticks, but all power to people that are trying to bang the drum. That's all I would say, because the more people that do, the more there is a chance of something eventually being done about it, or at least clear guidelines. I keep coming back to this. I am confused. I would love that one-to-one, because I think they've got so much wrong, and that's my view. I think they've clearly got so much wrong. So many bad decisions have been made, and answers need to be given, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying here. It's difficult, isn't it? But let's hope that into 2021 that you will get some answers, especially for the people that you've lost on the way as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've just had to cancel plans again. We all had a very odd Christmas. We've all had to cancel New Year. We're the only good thing, I guess, if there is such a word that you can use in this strange time, is that everybody's in the same boat now. You can't travel. Most people are in tier 4 now. Frankly, I just wish they'd lock the country down and stop messing around with different areas, tier 1, different areas, tier 2, they're tier 4, this is tier 3. I mean, just do one thing or another. It's so bloody confusing.
Well,
There you go.
it is confusing, I give you that. But I think initially what they've tried to do is tried to not make, I was talking about this with a friend the other day, and I think that they've tried to make it as if we're not in lockdown, but effectively we are in lockdown. Doesn't matter which tier you're in, we're in lockdown, aren't we? You know, so
This is promoted when I was doing the Christmas show, and it was received very well in the speech that I made at the end of the show, and that is to actually thank God for this technology. I see you, you see me. We can see our families. We can use these tools, and we'll be doing that. We did it at Christmas. We'll be doing it New Year's Eve. It will be very different, but we have to make the most of it, and that's what we are faced with. So that's what we have no choice but to do. But I do wish everybody a very happy new year, in a different form, in a different way, the way we get through to the new year. But all I can hope and pray is that either there's a clean sweep with the people that are in Westminster to get the job done properly, or maybe suddenly Westminster do get charismatic and get powerful and get focused on great decisions and give me the confidence that they're doing the right thing finally. Who knows?
yes, I agree with you. I think, I mean, I'm not in the entertainment industry as such. I mean, I'm sort of, well, I suppose I am now. Yes, I am. I mean, For the Now media is about entertainment brands.
You are a promoter of people within the entertainment industry. So this, you're very well connected in that way.
Yeah. I kind of am. So I mean, I'm totally behind all of you that work in this industry. I think you're right, something needs to be done, and to consider how there needs to be some sort of program or plan or process that you can all go through that puts back on
I go back to my earlier statement. If in a boardroom you had a bunch of people that came in one week with one set of resolutions or problem solving equations, and then the next week it's all changed, and then the next week it's all changed, and then the next week it's all changed, if you haven't got a good plan in the first place, then it's all going to fold. And this is what I keep coming back to. A business, I know I've run a big business, and if your foundation is not right, if it's not strong and it's not well meant, then it won't work. You're forever plugging holes, and that doesn't bode well. And again, I keep coming back to this. That's the way I see the way the government have run this whole episode, and Brexit before it. It's just a cataclysmic, one error to another error to another, fill a gap, plug a hole, knee jerk here, knee jerk there. I would love to see a modern day Churchill.
Right. Well, I hope your dream comes true.
I do too. I really do.
In the meantime, I really honestly, sincerely hope that you get 15 minutes at least with Rishi Sunak.
I'd love it. But I'll keep plugging away. You've picked up on it, so that's great. And I wish you well into the new year. You look lovely and smiley, so you're still obviously out there shaking a stick yourself, Ali, and I applaud that.
Oh, thank you very much, Mike. It's just something. Unfortunately, I have like you, have a positive mindset. So every day, up every day, and
as positive as it used to be. I used to be a dynamo, but I've got to find it. Got to go and find it and bring it back.
I'm sure you will, Mike. Anyway, thank you very much for coming on Tea Time with me.
Hey, You take great care and have a happy new year.
Happy New Year to you.